Hello, welcome to Yoga with Dagny. I'm so happy you're here with me. You just might be able to tell that my voice is a little raspy. That's because I've had a cold, like many people. So today's practice is a practice that's designed to help us when we have a cold, to help us feel better. So I'm hoping that you can have a chair. We're going to start in the chair, a belt, and maybe 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have any of these things, don't worry, you can make do. Yeah, so just begin by sitting right here in your chair and find your sitting bones and see that your feet are right beneath your knees and that you're kind of moved out toward the edge of the chair, not sitting back in the chair, but sitting up straight right at the edge. And just put your belt on your lap or your strap and just come into presence. So just come into your breath. Sometimes it's hard to breathe when we have a cold, but just take a moment to find your breath and take a deep breath or two. Just coming into your practice, coming into this moment. Taking in as big a breath as you can and just letting go of sickness, breathing in a sense of vibrancy and health. Letting go of the old as you exhale. And just take your hands to your heart center and just connect there for a moment. Maybe gently bow your head and set an intention for your practice. It could be anything. It could be a prayer for the world. It could be a prayer for yourself. It could be, God, help me to get through this cold. Whatever it is, just set an intention. And then let your head lift and your eyes open, and we'll just take a couple big breaths. Inhaling up, stretching up, and exhaling down to the heart. A couple more. And one more of those. Good. So one thing that we can do for ourselves when we have a cold is to work our sinuses. So for starters, if you just take your index fingers right to the outside edges of your nose and slide down right till you're on the outside edge of the nostril. I'll come close for this part so you can see. So sliding right on the outside edge of the nose to the outside of the nostril and just kind of coming right into that outer edge of the nostril. This is one of the beautiful sinus points that you can work for yourself. Sometimes it's nice to do it before bed or in the morning when you're waking up, maybe both. Good. And then if you just slide out under your cheekbone and kind of go right beneath the pupil line, right under the cheekbone, and just go up a little toward the bone. That's another really nice opening into the sinuses. So you can go right up under the cheekbone. You could even get both at one time. I'm using my middle fingers and my index fingers at one time, middle on the outer edge of the nostril, index under the cheekbones. And then a third point that's really good is just right up on the inner corner of your eyebrows. Right on that inner corner, just slide around till you fall into the little notch. And you'll feel like, ooh, this is good to also relieve a sinus headache. So you can just gently press into there. Sometimes gentle rubbing on these points can help too. Just taking a couple breaths into that third point. So outer corner of the nostril, right under the pupil line, up under the cheekbone, and right up on the inner corner of the eyebrow, and then just smoothing out the forehead. And we're going to do a little tapping too. So I want to point out the lung channel, starting right on this pec muscle. If your palms are facing forward, and you're just going right out along the anterior surface of the arm on the lateral side, and it goes right out to the thumb, right out to the thumb. So we're just going to do some gentle, I'm using a soft fist, which is really nice. First, just tapping on the lung area as you take nice big breaths, and then you can start to go down the channel. So that lateral aspect of the arm and forearm out toward the thumb. You can just tap that a few times. That feels really good. Going back up. Sometimes when I go across the chest, I make a cup with my hand. And if you have any cough or congestion, that can really help. So cupping ourselves all through the chest here. Getting that cough out, and then switching cup and getting the other side. Oh, that feels so good. Big breaths as you're doing this. Well, it's not just a slap, there's a little cup in your hand there. And then soft fist, tapping down the lung channel. All along lung. Sometimes I'll go up the other side, which is large intestine, which can also feel kind of good. Just that whole lateral aspect of the arm, sometimes cupping it a little bit. Good. And that should help to open that up. Ooh, you could be like Tarzan if you want. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Good. So from there, you're hopefully still in your chair. We're just going to do a little opening of the shoulders real quick, inhaling up and exhaling down and back, finding the right width of the belt so your arms stay straight. This is opening up the lung channel as well, especially as we come down and back. Big breaths, inhaling up and exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Getting that breath moving. Good, and then inhale up to the top and exhale, one arm down and back, the other one up and back, really pulling the belt in both directions. Inhale to transition, exhale opposite side, opening up the arms and shoulders, inhaling and exhaling. Good, a couple more. Yes. Good, and then inhaling center, and we'll exhale, release that belt. And we're just gonna make an L with each of our fingers and take a big breath in. On the exhale, you're gonna press your L out, straight out with the index finger pointing straight up and slightly back and slightly down. And this again will open those channels up for you, the lungs and the large intestine. And just really, there's an outward, downward, slightly backward pressing going on, opening right into the lungs. Good, and then just gently releasing that down. You can inhale the shoulders up to the ears and exhale them down and back. Good, a couple of times, inhaling up and exhaling down and back. Okay, so then coming up, we'll take a moment to do, let's do Ardha. We're gonna do Ardha Uttanasana to Uttanasana. And we're gonna rest our head on the chair because sometimes inverting and putting your head down can really help when you have a cold. So let's start with Ardha Uttanasana. Have your feet maybe even a little more than hip width apart. Have your hips right in line with your heels and just inhale. And get that spine nice and long and straight. And then when you're ready, you can come down to the forearms. Keep the spine nice and long and straight. Let the hamstrings start to open. There can be a soft bend in the hamstrings, that's fine. And then if you can, lower the crown of your head to the chair seat and just let your hands go down the chair legs. If you don't make it all the way down here, if your head is up higher, you can add a brick and put your head on the brick instead, like that. Even 2 bricks if you need it. But just trying to get the legs straight if you can, but not locked. And then just let go and take 5 big breaths here. If you can't breathe through the nose, you can breathe through the mouth, but if you can breathe through the nose, breathing in through the nose and just letting the belly expand with breath all the way up. See if you can fill the lungs up to the top of the lungs. And then exhale and completely letting go. If you have to cough, that's all right. If you have a cold. But doing another 4 of those breaths. Should feel really good to just let go here. And after 5 long breaths, then you can just take your hands up to the chair, hands to the hips, and come on up. Good. And then we're going to take a chair dog first before we do a floor dog. So we're going to do 5 nice breaths in chair dog. So external rotation of the arms on the edges of the chair, and then step back. We want to end up with our hips again over the heels, and we want to get a long straight line from our hands all the way to our hips. So we don't want to be up like this. That's more like a bracket. We want to really just press our lengthen our heart down toward our, basically toward our knees, and get really long. Let the neck be soft and free, and then take 5 big breaths here in your chair dog. Not a lot of pressure in the hands, just focusing on the breath. And as you're doing your breathing here, make sure that your shoulder blades are nice and firm on your back, and that energetically they're moving downward towards your hips and they're broad. And your breastbone is lifting energetically up toward the chair. And you're just breathing deep breaths here. Couple more big breaths. Good. And then you're going to inhale and look up toward the chair, and exhale, just walk forward toward the chair. Hands to the tops of the thighs, and inhale up with a nice long straight spine again, and just roll it out. Good. And now we're going to clasp our thumbs and point our index fingers behind our back. So clasp your thumbs, have your feet hip width apart. Chair can be in front of you again for your head. We're going to do the lung, large intestine, Makaho with our head resting. So basically clasp the thumbs, point the index fingers, inhale and roll your shoulders down your back, lifting your chest up. On the exhale, come forward with a long straight spine. And then just find the right distance so that you can actually rest your head on the chair. And just let your index fingers reach right up toward the ceiling as best they can. Let the knees be soft and a little bit bent. And then just take 5 big breaths here. And after 5 big breaths, root down into the feet. Inhale, come up with a long straight spine, and exhale, release the arms. Good, and whatever thumb was on top last time, put the opposite thumb on top this time. Point those index fingers again. Inhale, roll the shoulders down the back. Exhale, long straight spine. Coming to rest. One more time. 3 big breaths on this side. When you're ready, press into the feet. Inhale, up, baby back bend. Exhale, release the hands. Exhale, back to center. Roll the shoulders out. Very good. All right. So we are going to come down onto the floor. And we're going to come and we're going to take just a cat-cow or two just to limber the spine. Inhaling really big breaths, filling the lungs as we're in our cow. And exhaling, squeezing the breath out in cat. Good, and from here, we're gonna take a downward facing dog. If for any reason your wrists are hurting you, you can take a dolphin dog instead. Just see that your shoulders are still over your elbows, and you can come up that way, or you can come up into a traditional dog, either way. But curling the toes under, lifting the hips high. And again, finding yourself to be like an upside down V, pressing the knuckles into the mat forward, lifting the wrists a little bit. See that your chest is coming towards your knees and your buttocks are reaching towards your heels. Release the neck completely and just take a few good breaths there. Good, and then inhale and look up between the hands, drop the knees, and release down into a child's pose, resting the forehead right on the ground, turning the palms upward, releasing the wrists. And just take a couple breaths here. And when you're ready, we're actually gonna let's come up first. We're gonna take a Ustrasana camel pose first before we come down into a back bend on the floor. So just come so that you're just a little ways away from your chair. Your feet will go under your chair. And just take a minute to lift your chest up. Just lift that chest up. You can bring your hands first back to your buttocks here. Press down into your shins and toes. Lift the chest more, bring the elbows back and reach back for your chair. And maybe you can reach back and find the legs of the chair. So you want to be the right distance so that you can kind of lift up and reach back for the legs of your chair. And you can walk the hands down the legs a little bit if you want, but keep your thighs vertical, keep your chest up and lifted. If you want to drop the neck back, you can. There's a lifting up of your hip points, and there's a dropping down of your buttock flesh. And there's a lifting up of the breastbone as the shoulder blades descend. If it hurts your neck to put it back, you can keep it up like so. Either way is fine. Taking another couple of breaths there, deepening. And then when you're ready, just walking up. And if you can come and sit back on your heels for a minute, coming away from the chair and just feeling the benefit of that pose. Good. And then we're just going to move the chair aside for a moment. And we're going to come onto our bellies. Yeah, first let's just come into Sphinx pose, where your elbows are under your shoulders, your legs are nice and long, the tail is long, and just kind of rise up for a moment there. Lifting the heart and chest. If you can press your knuckles forward a little bit and just come up and straighten the arms, you can do that too. But keep the tailbone nice and long, elbows in, and then exhale, elbows down. And just come down to rest, arms back to the sides. Turning your head to one side and letting go. When you're ready, we're going to bend one knee and just see that you can reach it. And just pull it into the buttock. If you can't reach it, you can use the belt. And then let that one go and bend the other one and do the same thing. Pull the heel into the buttock. And then release it. And then inhale your chin to face forward, bend both knees, get hold of the ankles. Or if you want to loop a belt around, you can do that. And when you're ready, you're going to take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, you're going to think about the toes lifting up. And let the toes help lift the legs. And the legs and toes help lift the chest. And just breathe into the lungs. Big breaths. Take another breath or two. Lifting a little higher. And then when you're ready, slowly release down. Release the legs, but keep them bent. Turn the head to the other side. Let the knees go a little wide, and then just let the legs be like windshield wipers. Let them go back and forth, like so, just releasing the lower back. Good. And then when you're ready, put the legs right down. And we're just going to press back into a child's pose again. Stretch that lower back out. And then we're going to come onto, we'll have the knees slightly behind the hips and the elbows right beneath the shoulders. Get hold of your elbows for a moment beneath the shoulders, and then clasping the hands. We're going to just curl the toes under, take a big breath in, and exhale up into a dolphin dog. And just lift up as high as we can. As we breathe here for a minute, let the head drop and feel the integrity in the upper body. So your forearms are pressing into the earth. Your shoulder blades are broad and firm on your back, and energetically you're feeling them move down towards your buttocks. And then there's a lift up in the front of the armpit and chest at the same time as the shoulder blades are energetically moving down. If you can maintain all that and you want to walk in, keeping the hips high, then just gently press into the forearms and let the head just gently rest there. Only if you can keep that integrity in the upper shoulder blades.
This is a prep for headstand. You know, if you go into headstand on your own, you can do that now. Otherwise, this is just a good prep. If you're feeling any pressure on your neck, walk back and just return to letting the head hang. So either way is good, releasing the neck and then dropping the knees and just coming back again into a little child's pose. Take a breath or two there. And then slowly come on up. Good. Okay, so next we're going to do Halasana. So with our Halasana today, I'm going to use the chair. So we want to lie down on our back. You can have your knees bent. And what we want to do with our Halasana is you want to be able to just kind of you just want to be able to touch the legs of the chair with your arms extended. So just do that. Lay down, find where you can just grab the legs of the chair with your arms up over your head, which is a nice little stretch in itself. Legs are bent. And once you have that, you're going to take your arms down and roll your shoulders under. And then when you're ready, we're going to just take the legs up and see if we can roll them over to the chair. Once you roll them over to the chair, if this doesn't work for you, I'm going to show you what you're going to do in a minute. This is okay if this does not work. But if this works, you're going to walk your hands up your back, not turning your neck at all. And try to get your hips right over your chest. And then if you want to take one leg up at a time toward a shoulder stand, you can do that. If you've made it up into shoulder stand, just stay up there and enjoy it. If it's too much, going back to Halasana is good. If getting your legs over your self like that did not work for you, I'll show you what you'll do. You can stay up there if you're comfortable there. If it did not work for you, what I'm going to have you do is find one of your bricks and walk your feet in toward your buttocks. Roll your shoulders under, lift your hips up and put the brick right under your sacrum and roll the shoulders under for a supported bridge. This is also an amazingly good, comfortable place to be. This is amazing. It's really amazing for colds and coughs and everything. So if you are still up in your shoulder stand, I want you to come down very slowly, keeping well, first go back into Halasana. So take your feet back to your chair. And then when you're ready to come out, keep the neck nice and central and just come down very slowly with control, one vertebrae at a time. And come in for a landing. And once you've come in for a nice soft landing, you can get your brick and you could come into a supported bridge with everybody else. And just take a minute there to, this is just a wonderful posture to open the lungs. So in supported bridge, your heels are in line with your sitting bones. You may even be able to come up onto a high brick. You can either go low, medium, or high, whatever is going to work with your body so that you're comfortable and that your knees can stay in nice line and you can just be getting the benefit of the chest being so lifted and open here. So a couple more beautiful breaths there. You could even be down, if that's not comfortable, you can even be down on the lowest setting for this. That's totally fine. Whatever is working best for your body today. And when you're ready to come out, you're gonna press into the feet, lift up the hips, remove the brick, and come down slowly. I'm just gonna press that chair right away. We're gonna come into Matsyasana next. So just take up space on your mat. And we're gonna roll the shoulders under. You're gonna make a little diamond with your hands. And you're just gonna put that little diamond right under your sacrum and kind of draw the elbows in a little bit. And then when you're ready, you're gonna press into the forearms and lift up through your chest. And just let the head come back. And there's a reaching out from the sacrum to the heels and a lifting up of the chest. And you're just gonna let the neck open and the throat open, which is also gonna benefit you with if you have a cold. Couple of big breaths there. Good, and then pressing into the forearms, lengthen the neck, and slowly come down. And you can release the hands. And just bend the knees and bring the knees into the chest for a little stretch. You can rock from side to side if it feels good. And bringing that to stillness, let's keep the right knee into the chest. Extend your left leg long, and then use your left arm to gently draw that knee across for a supine twist. Reaching out through the opposite arm, let your chest open, and again, those lungs open up. And then inhaling slowly back to the center. Bending both knees, hugging the knees to the chest, keeping the left one in this time. Using the right arm to gently draw it over for a nice supine twist. Second side. Reaching back into the left arm. Breathing deeply. When you're ready, inhaling slowly back to the center. And then any last little moves you need to do before we go into rest for Shavasana. When you come into Shavasana, take up as much space as you can on your mat and just begin to settle down, knowing that when we have a cold, it's so important for us to just let go and rest and slow down. So just taking a couple minutes here to just do that, to totally slow. Well, sorry. Just totally slow down. So lying on our backs and just letting our bodies soften into the moment. Breathing in a sense of healing to the body. Breathing in new energy and new life. Exhaling
what no longer serves us as we soften. Relaxing your face and your jaw. Relaxing your neck and shoulders. Arms. Torso. Hips. Legs. Feet.
Just letting go completely. And as you rest, I'm just going to read a little reflection. It says, the only things worth having grow when you give them away. Give love, peace, and joy. You will have more when you give them to others. Have you ever felt like you just don't have any more love to give? In that moment, know that you aren't working from the supply of eternal love that created you. You are working from the worldly definition of love, which definitely has limits. Eternal love expands to encompass you as you give it away. When your tank is empty, shift gears. Go within and touch the love that created you. Your supply is truly unlimited. So as you rest there, just see if you can reach in to that eternal supply, to that source of creation, to that which created you, bring you into form and being, that eternal source of love. And just breathe it into yourself. And as you exhale it out into the world, just know that just by tapping in and then giving it out, it's going to grow. It's going to grow in you, and it's going to grow all around you. And it's going to come back to you. And then just gently bend at the knees and draw your knees in and give yourself a little hug. And then when you're ready, just softly roll onto the right side and just land there. And when you're ready, you can just press up to find a seat. You can sit cross-legged, you could sit on your chair, you could sit on a brick in hero pose or on your heels. And we'll just take our hands to our heart and gently bow our head to our heart, connecting into the unlimited
supply of healing and love and peace and joy. Knowing that when we give these things out, they grow and we grow. And I just want to thank you for showing up and practicing with me. If you get a cold, watch this one again, because it definitely is good to open up the breath. All right, the light in me, the eternal love in me, the unlimited supply of love in me sees and knows and honors the unlimited supply of light and peace and joy and love in you. Namaste.